recently we had a situation where the 50 amp power input on our RV came loose. Let me show you what that looks like. So you notice that here's our 50 amp input, and this is cracked right here. And the little ring that was around the 50 amp plug, it broke off. So we were having to try to put this in here, and then just, you know, and no tape would hold that or anything. So I would actually prop something up against this just to hold it in, which of course is really dangerous. So we contacted Alliance, and they shipped us a replacement for this entire piece. And in the meantime, I saw an ad for a different product, and I thought, you know what, I want to go ahead and upgrade, because this situation can be really dangerous. Because anytime your electricity doesn't have good contact with the unit, it isn't just like held on really tight, that's not an ideal situation. I saw an ad for this product, which as you can see, it's called a smart plug. You can see the product name there. But basically, this is the unit that you replace at the input of the RV. It's supposed to just replace it pretty easily. And then this is the connector. You actually have to cut off the end of your 50 amp cable and replace it with this. And then when this all goes together, it's a locking mechanism that goes in there, and it holds it super tight up against and makes that secure electrical connection that you want. And you shouldn't have to replace these, because I guess the more that I've looked at these things, maybe watched some videos, I've heard that people have been RVing for a long time have to replace those input jacks a fair number of times. So even though this was relatively expensive, I think it was between $200 and $300, I thought to myself, well, you know, for one, it's a safety issue. I think it's absolutely the better thing to do. And two, why have to do this multiple times? It's annoying. Why not just get it once? And then even if my 50 amp cable goes bad for some reason, I could always just cut this end off and then put it on a new one. Okay, so the first thing I have to do is I have to go ahead and replace the end on the 50 amp cable. I hope it works. There we go. Okay, so we actually need to measure 1 3/4 inches. Grab a utility knife. Our only goal is to cut that yellow. We just want to go deep enough to score it, essentially. Try not to cut into the wires, so I did a pretty good job of that. Just open this up, and all this stuff, you can just cut that out. Go ahead and grab a pair of scissors to do this cleanly. Okay, I don't really have the right tool to do this properly, so I'm just going to have to be really, really careful with my knife. Obviously, you can see I am not a trained professional. Okay, got them all. Look good. And cutting into copper. Okay, so supposedly this pulls out of this when you squeeze down here. There we go. Okay, the next step, you're supposed to, this says ideal for use for 250 volt 4-conductor cable. And then they give you another one for 110. That's not going to work for us, so we're going to use this one. You're supposed to put this on the back of this. So I guess we're supposed to kind of stuff this in there. That looks pretty good. Okay, our objective is to get this through here. So they have this interesting methodology of doing that, where you actually pull these things down and you put them, bunch them like this. You're basically going to force this through here. Now, in order to do that, you need dish soap. So apparently we're supposed to liberally spread dish soap, lube that pretty good, and then I think we're supposed to go to do the same here. Oh, that's pretty easy. Well, I spoke too soon. Oh, okay, there we go. So we want this to go about 6 inches, about like that. About like that. So actually the soap did make it very easy. Okay, so now we're going to take this thing off. And we're going to position these in a way that they're ready to be put into the jack. It can go out like this. And there's 4 little screws on each side, 1 for each input, and we're going to just loosen those. Now the holes are pretty wide. Then we're just going to take these wires, make them nice and neat. Okay, so basically you're just wanting to line it up with those holes, just like that. And so when you put it in, you want to make sure it kind of looks like the same pattern, because they need to go in all at once at the same time. It's a little tricky. Line it up. There we go. And then we'll just go in and we'll just tighten that Allen wrench. Okay, the next step is you're going to take this clamp, and we're going to take these screws and we're going to clamp it down. Okay, so when you put these screws on, you got to make sure that you don't over tighten them. Okay, apparently now we have to break the soap out again, because then we need to pull this backwards into that assembly. And before you do that, we're going to make sure that this lines up with this, because it only goes back in there one way. You don't want to do it upside down. So we're going to pour more soap in here. Don't make too much of a mess. That I've ever used soap as a tool. Doing something like this. And then we're going to take the longer screws, put them into those 4 holes. Okay, that feels pretty good. Now it says remove adhesive backing from seal, but I don't see an adhesive backing on the seal. Now this sort of works. I'm going to kind of use the rounded edge of this. Just kind of poke that down in there evenly, trying for it not to flip up on me. I think that's good. So here we go. Looks pretty good. Now we're ready to put this on the RV. Now it just happens that we're running the generator right now, and since I really don't know much or trust electricity that much, I am going to turn this off. And I'm also, just for safekeeping, I'm going to turn off solar power. Okay, we're going to take off the old unit. Now you have to separate these, and then you can get the wires. There we go. Okay, so we're going to put this gasket on here, and we're going to use the seal. Before I do that, it's pretty dirty. clean surface to put our adhesive on. Okay, so when we put it on there, we want it to go like this. It can only go one way. So pull this out just a little bit. Take this adhesive off. Okay, you want to line it up with the holes. The next step is going to be to line all these up with these. Just want to make sure that the screws are all out of the way of the holes so the wires can go in easily. Solid. Okay, so now I've opened this. I gotta say, it was kind of a bear to open. And then I'm just gonna line it up, and you're gonna take the old screws. Now, for the magic moments. So now I'm pulling on it. It's definitely not coming out. Squeeze to unlock it. It should just have that satisfying pop to it. It's definitely locked in there. That's not going anywhere. Mission accomplished. Well, hey guys, if you love this kind of content, please like and subscribe. Click the buttons below. You know what to do. And here we are a couple months later, actually, from when I did the install. And I have to say, this thing is working great. I really like it. I feel like it may be the last plug like this that I'll ever need to buy, which was exactly the plan. So I do definitely give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions at all about the install, please ask in the comments below, and we'd love to hear from you. Thanks so much for watching.